Hello there. You're welcome to the second season of By Faith podcast, brought to you by Lois and the Holy Spirit. In this season, we will be sharing personal stories of individuals who have battled things like sexual abuse, marijuana addiction, gambling, grief, postpartum depression, childhood trauma, and church hurt. God wants to use this season to heal, restore, and deliver anyone who is currently facing such struggles. So I need you to plug in your earphones and listen to stories that will change your life.
Hi, my name is Oyinkansola and I am a writer, a podcaster, a believer, and I'm from a family of 5, now 4, and I lost my immediate younger sister. Okay, the first thing I did when I heard the news, so I was still a student at the time. This was just a year ago. It's going to be 2 years next year, March. So I was in school. I was battling with a lot of school stress, and I was a leader in my school association as well, so I was going through a lot of struggle balancing a lot of schoolwork and school activities and all of those things. Not to bore you with the details, but yeah, my sister passed on Tuesday, but I heard on a Thursday. So I was in school and they told me she was ill, right? That she was in the boarding school, so she came home and I heard that she was ill. So I called my parents and I asked them what was going on, and well, it's just regular malaria, she's gonna be fine. She was in the hospital, and I spoke with her, and there was one time that I called and I heard her crying over the phone, and I had to tell them to let me actually speak with her. But I would always pray every day and I'll ask God what was going on, but then I was assured that nothing was gonna happen because it was just regular malaria, yeah. But on that Tuesday, I was very tired of schoolwork. And before then, I was already telling my parents that I wanted to take a break. Like, you could go home on weekends from school. So I told my parents that I wanted to take a break, I wanted to come home. But they would always stall and be like, we are almost done, just wait till we can. And there was fuel scarcity at the time, so it was very hard for me to transport myself from school home. I schooled in Babcock, by the way, so it was very hard for me to come from Babcock to Ibadan, but my parents would always come and pick me. But there was fuel scarcity, so it was a lot of struggle for them coming to pick me from school just for a weekend, right? So I just rested on the matter. But that Tuesday I was really tired from everything, from schoolwork. So I called my dad and I'm like, hey daddy, I'm coming home, please, I'm going to take a pass, please come and pick me. And at the time when I called him was the time that she passed. The minute I called was the minute that she had passed, according to what they told me. And my dad immediately is like, I will call you back. He will call me back and I should just hold on with that idea. But he didn't sound like how he would normally, telling me, oh no, please, there's no field to come and do that. He just told me, I will call you back, hold on with the idea. So he, one way or the other, was able to get through to my whole admin, tell them that I had lost my sister, but they shouldn't let me know. So she processed my pass very quickly, and when I had to go there to meet her, she was trying to hide it, but in my head I'm like, how did she know that I wanted to go home and all of those things, right? So there was so many glaring reasons that what's going on. So I was wondering what was going on, but I couldn't have thought that she would have passed. I thought that maybe she was very ill or something. So on Wednesday morning, someone called me and the person was like, when you come, I'm so sorry for what happened. And I'm like, what happened? The person is like, oh, I called the wrong way because I actually didn't have the person's number, right? So in my head I'm like, okay, now this is getting real. All my cousins didn't talk to me. So immediately I picked my phone. I called my cousins. At first I thought it was my grandma, so I called my cousins. None of them were picking. I went to our group chat. I told them, you guys, Fikayo is dead. That's my late sister's name. And they were like, no, that's not possible, it's a lie, I just spoke with her, blah blah. All of them were lying, and then immediately started laughing at me, saying that how would I say such a ridiculous thing. They were laughing, and according to them, they just finished crying and they were just laughing so that I couldn't just like I've guessed and all of those things. So immediately I was able to process my past. I got to the car. I asked the driver, where's my sister? He said, oh, she went back to the hostel. She wants to write her exams and all those. Like, everybody was telling me different stories about where she was. So immediately I just prayed in the car. I said, God, if anything has happened, just give me the strength to hold on. Just give me the strength to hold on. And I slept. And I slept throughout that ride. I got home and I saw so many cars in the car park. I saw so many cars in the car park. I'm like, what's happening? My father does not have this many cars. What was all this? Where did he buy all these cars? I saw some familiar cars of family members and family friends. Immediately I got in. I saw my mom looking very downcast. My dad was still agile. So I greeted everybody and I went to my dad. I said, what's the problem? My dad, they had buried her that day before I came, and that was the most painful part of it. I wanted to see her even if she was dead. I just wanted to hold her and just speak to her, but they had buried her at the time. So I went to my dad. I asked him, what's happening? And my dad is like, I should calm down. Why did I say I want to come home? Because my dad knows that I'm like very a woman of the spirit. So like I always have instinct of things happening in the house. So I told him I knew something was wrong, but before then I was very tired and I actually wanted to come home. And I was like, oh, on that Tuesday the minute you called, you lost your sister, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, that's good, that's right, all right. And I walked straight to my room. I locked my door and I began to pray. And in a Yoruba household, they thought that I wanted to kill myself. So immediately told my aunties to follow me. So all of them followed me, opened my door. I'm like, you people should just leave me. Let me pray now. Let me firstly pray. Because I needed to pray to know what God would have me do. Right? So that was the first thing I did when I heard the news. And how I wanted to be comforted during that time. Honestly, I just wanted to be alone with my thoughts. I wanted to be alone with my thoughts. I didn't have questions. I had so many contradictions in my heart. I was wondering why such a thing would have happened. So I wanted to be alone, to mask my thoughts together with God. Like, not ask God questions, but have a conversation with Him to know what's happening. I was not having all the I'm so sorry for your loss, but I wasn't having it. But I wasn't cranky at the same time. So I wanted to be comforted at the time was just be by myself. And when I was ready to come out, I would have people around me, the people that would make me happy, the people that would make me smile, and all of those things. So yeah, that was how I wanted to be comforted on that. I just wanted to be by myself. The things people said to me that I wish they did not say and did not help. Oh, God gives and God takes. Oh, I know we tried our best, we prayed, we asked for mercy, we did this, we did that, but God gives and takes. Okay, ma, thank you, ma. Like, it doesn't help to tell me that. Or, please be strong. Please stay strong for your mom. Please stay strong for your father. Please be strong for your younger sister. Because I had 2 sisters. One is late now and the other one. Please be strong for them. And I'm like, okay, so if I'm strong for everybody, who's gonna be strong for me? Or I'm not getting it. Because at the time, I don't know where the strength was from, but I actually had the strength from God, right? And I drew joy from the wells of salvation. I drew joy. But at the same time, there was just this, it felt like my whole life just came shattering down. Literally. That's how it felt. And I didn't like when people were saying, oh, she's in a better place. I obviously knew that she was in a better place, but I didn't want to hear it. Or, please, don't cry. Please, you're the one that if you cry, your mom will cry. Please try to eat so that your mom will eat. I know that they are caring for me, but that don't cry was very triggering for me. What do you mean I should not cry? Should I laugh? I should be shining teeth. Oh, my sister has died. Like, I wouldn't understand it yet, but yeah, that there are a lot of more things, but I wouldn't want to bore you with like all the details. My coping mechanism, that goes through their old photos on clothes, or they get rid of it all. My first coping mechanism was praying, and I got to a point that I couldn't pray because I was overwhelmed. Why? I was overwhelmed with the fact that people will come into my house and they will look at me and be like, please, it's only both of you that your mom has now. Please stay strong for her. That thing just gave me so pissed. My coping mechanism was trying my best to actually pray so that I can put my heart, I can control my mind from my spirit. I don't know if it makes sense. So the times that I couldn't pray, I got a journal. I used to write everything that I felt down. I wrote everything I felt, every single thing I felt. I wrote it out. I would pray when I could, and when I couldn't, I would bask in worship songs, just create an atmosphere of God around myself. There are old photos. I made videos of our memories together. I still have those. I made like memoirs of our memories together. Some people came over to my house, like my mom's friends, and they were like, they want to pack all our clothes away so that there wouldn't be like any trace of memory of her. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. We are going to have it here. If I have to wear them, I'll wear them. I would wear them when I remember to. And there are some of our clothes that are now officially mine. Like I just wear them regularly as per I'm wearing my normal clothes, just for me to know that even though she's not presently here, she has moved into heaven, and it doesn't mean that she's still not my sister. So I just try as much as possible not to dash away the memories. The memories were very triggering, but I knew that was the only thing that I had, and I kept it close to my heart. So yeah, describing a specific moment that brings a smile to my face when I think about the person I lost. Well, when I remember how smart she was, she always aced all her exams. Like, she was very smart, always aced all her exams. So that's like one memory that would always be in my head. Like every time I drive or I walk or I'm around like her school area, I just remember how bright of a student she was. And anytime I have to sweep this house, I'm like, oh, I miss this girl. Like, she would always sweep the house, and that's not the only reason I miss her. She was very goofy and very homely. So anytime we had guest over, she would always be there to be homely towards them and all of those things. And whenever anyone in the house is having a down moment, she'll be the first person to realize and be like, are you okay? What's going on? Mom, are you fine? Are you okay? Like all of those things. So I always miss those moments of her. They always bring back like great memories whenever I remember how homely she was, how smart she was, and how she used to sweep the house. How has this experience influenced your relationships? This question. How has it influenced my relationship with other people and my perspective on empathy? So, my relationship with other people have actually not changed much, because the Oyinkan before she lost somebody and the Oyinkan after she lost somebody is no major difference. And I would like people to treat me as I always like I always was. I don't know if that makes sense. Some people say I treated me like an egg after I lost my sister. But are you okay? Don't cry. Don't think about you. Like, even 1 year after, people are like, are you good? I'm just texting you to check up on you. And I totally understand. I respect it. I love it. But then at the same time, I'm not handicapped. Nothing is wrong with me. It's just something mental. And I've been able to learn enough about grief to be able to handle it. And my relationship with other people have not changed at all. I just know that we have to cherish each other more, and that's one thing that I used to do even before I lost somebody. So I still cherish people even till now, and like, it's not something changing. Do you understand? So I still value relationships and friendships even after I lost somebody and before. So nothing exactly has changed, or grief has not exactly influenced how I deal with people. But one thing that I know that grief has done is me educating people better on how to deal with grieving people. There's some things that you can't do to people that are grieving. My perspective on empathy: please be kind to everyone. You don't know what people are going through. Be kind to everybody. I beg. It wouldn't hurt you to be kind to people. Is there anything I wish people knew about grief that is often misunderstood? Well, life is not the end. This life is not the end, it's the beginning of an end. So, as believers, we have to grieve. Like, there's no way we can go through this world and not one way or the other go through grief. Like, it's inevitable, but at the same time, we take our tears to God. God is not angry that you're praying in tears. God heals the brokenhearted. He can relate to your pain. So that's one thing I wish everybody would know, that God can relate to your pain. Is your father. Cry to him, right? Cry to God. It would heal your heart. And if you have any questions about grief, take your questions to God. Take it to God. Like, I don't know how I explain this, but I remember saying that I wasn't questioning God, but at the same time, I wasn't also not asking God questions, right? I was asking God questions about quite a number of things, and God's character is constant. God is not to be blamed. God is not the problem. He is the solution. So I want everyone to actually know that and always put that at the back of their mind, that God is not the problem. God is the solution, and God solution to death is that he has defeated death permanently. As long as you're a believer, as long as you believe that Christ came, Christ died, Christ resurrected, you believe in the salvation that God has given to us freely, death is a passage, not a destination. Christ has defeated death on the cross. And make sure to take comfort in the brethren. No believer should grieve alone. No, don't isolate yourself in grief. Any mental condition, grief, or anything, it thrives better in isolation. So anytime you have a believer, that you see a believer that is grieving, try your best to be around them, to cheer them up, to say nice things to them, not insensitive things. Make sure that you're being kind enough to them. Make sure that you're checking up on them, just checking in. Ask them how they would love to be comforted, so that you know that you're not doing anything that is triggering them and all of those. So please and please, I would love everyone to know that grief is not the end. Death is not the end. It is a passage, not a destination. And eventually you can draw joy from your salvation, right? You can draw joy from your salvation. That's the bedrock of everything else. And we'll know that as believers, when someone dies, we're still going to see them on the resurrection morning. And yeah, that's all the things that I have to say today. Thank you so much, Lois, for having me. My name is Oyinkansola, like I said earlier, and I really hope that you learned a thing or two. Bye.